everybody, welcome back to Let's Talk. This is me, Meera, and today we're going to learn certain very handy medical terms that we actually have to or maybe end up in some cases using on a daily basis. Sometimes it's very difficult to explain what we are talking about to doctors or to elders or to anyone around you who can help you. And similarly, it is difficult to understand when people are talking about these terms. Now, we are going to understand these so that you can use it whenever you are in a situation. These terms are going to be very handy and you will understand what the doctor means or what the doctor will understand what you are trying to say. Okay, let's get started with the first word. Now, a specimen is nothing but sort of a sample, a tissue sample taken so that the doctor can diagnose or identify. It usually goes to a pathology lab and they identify what is the problem in your blood cell or tissue, okay? So it's a sample for diagnosis. Speaking of diagnosis, I have the same word right over here. I'm going to come to it in the next 1 to 2 minutes. We'll talk about immune first. Now, I'm sure you must have heard this quite a lot. In fact, these days we have so many advertisements flashing on our TV screens or even on our YouTube channel where there are a lot of companies speaking about immunity, which means your body can protect yourself from any disease, right? So, prevents diseases. That means your immunity system is good. People who have a low immunity system are prone to diseases, right? Which means less immunity, and people who are usually less immune, they welcome a lot of diseases, okay? So, prone means just less immune, and where the body is more inviting to any disease. This is how you would remember it. Immunity system is where you can prevent disease, and prone means you're prone to an allergy, prone to a disease, where the immunity is less. Now, I spoke about diagnosis here. Now, to diagnose means what? Particularly here, an expert takes a look at your case, your medical case, and he or she tries to understand, examine, or identify exactly what went wrong. And then they will take a step ahead and go ahead with a particular procedure. They can't blindly just follow a procedure. They have to understand what went wrong with that particular person, that body, that animal, anybody. And that's what diagnosis means. It means, like I mentioned, diagnose is the base word. Diagnosis means examine. Okay. Why? Why do you examine? To identify what went wrong and then to be able to to understand that yes, I will use this procedure, and that is how we will go ahead with it. Now, prenatal. Pre obviously means before something. Before what? Natal means giving birth. Before giving birth. Okay? You would hear this quite a lot these days because now, to just divert a little bit, there are a lot of gyms and a lot of yoga instructors who specialize in prenatal, which means before birth, before giving birth, even before, like probably during pregnancy. So there are this word in particularly is quite famous, along with the opposite of this word, which is postnatal. Let me just write it here. Postnatal. You would find many people taking a lot of advices from a lot of experts when it comes to postnatal exercises, right? And that is why you need to know these two words. They're very hip and they're very in. It's just that you need to know what it means, okay? Postnatal means after giving birth. Now, benign. What does benign actually mean? That something which is not harmful, okay? A particular germ or a particular disease which is not harmful. So you can say, oh no, not to worry, he or she just has fever. It's completely benign, which means not harmful. Okay. Now, moving on from not harmful to acute, which means a very particular or a peculiar extreme pain, means acute, okay? Extreme pain. In fact, I can give you an example right now. I'm having an acute pain in my neck and in this portion right now because of certain exercises, or I must have slept wrong. This is how you can explain to someone when you're speaking about pain and when it is particularly high in one area and that sensation is causing you pain. Now, incision means nothing but a slight cut. Okay, maybe the doctor wants to do a certain operation or a certain procedure that needs an incision. So, whenever anyone tells you that I need to do an incision, only then we can operate you, that means they're going to give you a cut. Okay, a cut in the skin means incision. Now, what does anesthesia mean? Anesthesia, you must have heard of this, an injection which is anesthesia, which causes temporary loss of sensation in that area. Now, particularly when you have to do certain oral treatments or really huge medical procedures or operations, doctors usually give anesthesia, which means an injection. It's actually not an injection in all the cases. It could just be a liquid, okay? So, a liquid causing temporary loss of sensation in any part of your body. I, in particular, have had a lot of anesthesia because of my oral treatment. So that as a child, I used to have a lot of problems, and that's why I used to get a lot of injections. So I'm actually not afraid of injections. Is anyone of you afraid of injections? Do let me know in the comments. Moving on to amnesia. Amnesia means someone, or at times when you have a partial loss of memory. For example, imagine a situation where you fell off your bike, your two-wheeler, your scooter, or maybe from your car, something happened and you hit your head, okay? And the doctor or people around you ask you that, hey, what happened? Can you tell me what happened? Do you remember anything? And you say, I don't remember a lot. The last thing I remember is that I was on my scooter. That means the doctor will say, I think there is an amnesia. He will check your eyes, okay, with a battery, and he would say, you probably have amnesia, means partial loss of what? Of memory. Now, dehydration, something that is very common these days. Hydration is something that is common, but whenever you're feeling weak, probably you have sweat a lot and you're getting a lot of cramps in your body when you're exercising the next day, that means you're dehydrated. That means there is less of water in your body. Less water causes dehydration, okay? You must have heard of cast. For those who haven't, I'm sure you must have heard of this terminology, plaster. Now, as a child or as kids, whenever a friend of yours would break his bone or bones, he would get a cast. Okay, it's made of plaster of Paris and it's put anywhere around your body wherever your bones need to get mended again, get back together again, and you sign on it, you write some foolish things. Well, that is a cast, okay? Now, ache. Now, the reason why this is there is because you would, most of the times, acute, something that is really painful, or an ache is something that is very commonly used. toothache, headache, backache, stomachache. These are the terminologies you use so often, and that is why I want to make sure that you guys know these terms, and they're very handy and you can use them quite often. Well guys, this is all for the day. I will be back soon with another interesting lesson for you all. Until then, keep practicing, keep smiling. This is me, Meera, signing off for the day, guys. Bye.